All right, so we are now restarting this again. Thank you for bearing with us. Let us know if you can hear us by. Is that right? If you can hear us, just post in the chat. I'm not seeing any comments right now. Okay, there we go. C Sharp says welcome. All right, we're back in action. Okay, so let's redo that all over again with Forrest with the perp price prediction.
All right, thanks, Ian. Today we're taking a look at some perp scenario models, some analysis on perpetual protocol. This is a project that we love the fundamentals behind. This is a derivatives exchange, a decentralized derivatives exchange. It's a project that we've been talking
Forrest,
about.
could you pull up your screen? I think you have to. We're in different software now, so you have to share your screen.
Yep. It should be shared with you.
Oh, okay. Actually, yeah.
Yep. Hold on. I just unshared it. Let me share it again. Should be good.
Yes.
There we go. All right, let's take it from the top. All right, so we're taking a look at some perpetual scenario models today. Perp is a decentralized derivatives exchange, a very solid project that we've been talking about for quite a while here, and the price action recently has really been reflecting its fundamentals, its strength as a fundamentally sound project. Now, this is a project, or this is analysis that we were talking about to our pro customers in the pro customer webinar on Wednesday, but this is also some of the type of analysis that we do, or that I do on Crypto Foresights every week for Token Metrics TV. Now, on Wednesday, we were talking about how it might be a good idea to start taking some profits. And again, when you take profits on your crypto positions, you don't have to sell everything. You don't have to sell all your perp. Taking 5, 10% can be really productive to your overall portfolio at these key levels of resistance, right? So that was on Wednesday, and now we've seen the price drop from 17 and change to 14 and change, right? We know there's going to be resistance there. We know it might be a good idea to take some profits. Now, this drop, this correction, to me, I do not think it is indicative of Perp's fundamentals, right? It's not because Perp is a bad project. That's not why Perp's dropping. The Perp's dropping here more than likely because people had a round of buying at $3 and $4. And when people bought a month ago at $3 to $4, and then it runs up to 17 towards the top of the channel, people are of course going to be taking profits on a 3, 4, 5x investment that has returned, had returns that rapidly, right? Now, we've got some channels and some trend lines drawn here, right? And just as kind of a gut check, if Perp stays in this channel, stays in these channels within these trend lines, where would its price end up given the position of these trend lines by the end of the year? Now, the end of the year is just an arbitrary date. That doesn't mean that we think Perp is going to peak or this market cycle is going to peak by the end of the year or at the end of the year. This is just giving us some constructive levels that we can look at to say realistically, if nothing changes about Perp's price action and we just stay in this channel and we don't break out according or based off of its strong fundamentals, these are kind of the price ranges for Perp that we were looking to be in. At the top, roughly $25, and at the bottom, roughly $9, with some $12, $13 to $18 ranges in the middle. Now, what we want to look at is Perp's dominance or market share in the total cryptocurrency space. It's rising. Why is it rising? Because Perp's a good project. Perp's a good project, and its market share or its share of the market as compared to the rest of the rest of the market or other cryptocurrencies in this space, it's going up. And we would expect it to continue to go up because it is a fundamentally sound project that probably has not reached its full valuation yet. And it's a continually growing space. Decentralized derivatives, we're seeing a lot of investment go into this space, a lot of money move into this space. Now, towards the top, again, using the end of the year as an arbitrary date marker, we can say we can produce estimations or scenarios towards the top of this channel of 0.111%, 0.0575% in the middle, or a bearish scenario in terms of Perp's dominance of 0.019%. Now, when we overlay those with the total cryptocurrency market cap scenarios that we're going to explain in just a moment, we can produce a price scenario matrix to figure out where realistically can perp trade at over the next year or so. Right. So this is a logarithmic view, a logarithmic scale here on the right with a linear trend line. And this is total cryptocurrency market cap. This is all the money in the crypto space. And you can see that since 2013, 2014 back here, it has been increasing at a linear trend line on a logarithmic view. That equates to exponential growth with occasional parabolic separations or bull markets against this linear trend line fair valuation. Now, as measured from our peaks back in 2013, 2017, and currently, we can take a measure of the risk premium or risk tolerance of the market. We can say how much risk in terms of overvaluation from the fair value can we build, can this market take? Well, historically, it's taken 1,200 days to fair value as the risk premium or as the risk tolerance, right? That means people were willing to enter the market up here at a $16 billion valuation when the days to catch up to the fair value trend line would have been 1,200 days or roughly 4 years. Now at $835 billion in 2017 and 2018, that number actually increased, right? We were 1,450 days away from our fair value, value trend line, right? And you can see that we actually are not at that point yet in terms of date of this fair value trend line, right? That's how overvalued we got over in 2017 and 2018. Now, recently, this peak at $2.56 trillion, we were only roughly 730 days away from fair value. Compared to other markets and other value assets, the way they're trading right now, with inflation at highs, with the strength of the dollar dropping, with the money supply doubling in the past year, we're expecting equities and other value assets like the S&P 500 to trade at very large risk premiums or risk tolerances because people don't want their money in dollars when when all of those macroeconomic factors are going on, when the money supply is increasing. So we can estimate that 1,450 days in terms of risk tolerance or days to fair value might happen again, right? But even if we build in some lower scenarios, 500 days to fair value, 750 days to fair value, and 1,000 days to fair value to be more conservative in our analysis so that we're not throwing out crazy bull market numbers, we can see that it's only a matter of time before we get to $2.6 trillion in total cryptocurrency market cap, where we recently peaked. It's only a matter of time until we get to $4.6 trillion. It's only a matter of time before we get to $7.8 trillion, right? So am I saying it's going to happen by the end of the year? No, but over the next couple years, we would expect this kind of growth to continue. Now, just one point of analysis, this green line, this is $600 billion. That's what Microsoft was trading at in terms of market cap in 1999, right? In 1999, when there was five times less money in existence, the money supply was 5 times lower than it is now. That was one asset. Now we're talking about the total cryptocurrency market cap in totality. So 2.6 trillion, 4.6 trillion, 7.8 trillion are very conservative estimates for the next couple of years. Could we see down price action in the meantime? Could we return? Could we go into a bear market? I don't think it's likely, but of course it's possible. Could we see downwards price action towards this trend line? Sure. But over the course of the long term, over the course of the next couple of years, we expect these scenarios to be realized. Now, we also, going back to Perp, have to layer in the inflation of the token supply. So we've layered that in, and I believe used 48 million Perp tokens by the end of the year as our arbitrary date. Now, if we use by the end of the year, or if we just use these total cryptocurrency market cap scenarios of 2.6 trillion, 4.6 trillion, and 7.8 trillion, and then we use our end of year scenarios for Perp in terms of market dominance, we can construct a price scenario matrix where we see our most bearish scenario, which of course assumes that we get to $2.6 trillion. And maybe that'll happen by the end of the year. But it should happen within at least 2 years, right? 2 years we're 2 years away from $2.6 trillion being our fair value trend line, right? We're 2 years away from being at a $2.6 trillion valuation in total cryptocurrency market cap. So could it happen by the end of the year? Absolutely. But it should at least happen within the next 2 years if we maintain that trend line, right? So on the most bearish side, we're seeing $10.29 for Perp, but on our most bullish estimates, we're seeing $180. So is Perp by the end of the year going to go to $500? No, probably not. Is it going to go to 180? Probably not, right? This is our most bullish scenario. Our more likely scenarios by the end of the year, probably somewhere in this shaded region, somewhere between $30 and $60, right? Which by the end of the year, should we see this bull market kick back up, that's great returns from where it's at right now at $14, right? So I've taken this chart data and constructed taken the table data and constructed some charts for you guys. This is a linear view. You can see our most bullish scenario here in green, our more conservative or realistic scenario here in yellow, and our red, more bearish scenario here in red, right? And this is just a logarithmic view of the exact same data. It's just a different scale. It's a logarithmic scale so that you can actually see these numbers here, right? So those are our Perp scenario models. If you had to ask me, Forrest, what's a realistic price target for Perp? I'd say anywhere between $50 and $60 for the foreseeable future. Could it be over the next couple months, or could it be over the next year, right? Both are valid, but somewhere around $55, $60, I think is completely reasonable for Perp to go up to, given its trend lines and given the total cryptocurrency market cap trends over the last 7 to 8 years. So back over to Ian.
All right. Thank you, Forrest. All right. So if you enjoyed that segment, please smash the like button. Thank you for bearing with us during the technical issues with the audio. All right. So let's now segue back to the Menti page. Let me bring up my screen here. All right. All right, so time for question of the day. Ethereum London hard fork is live. Do you think there is still room for gains with this upgrade? Let's go to Bill.
Okay, when it comes to Eath, everyone has been talking about these sort of blockchain-based events for a long time. I think that once these things are out of the way, or once these things start happening, people are going to realize very simply that Eath is undervalued. Sometimes it takes headline news for people to focus their attention on what other people think is obvious. And when it comes to these hard forks, although I'm not a blockchain expert, they create headlines. Headlines create focus, and focus creates price action. So that's why during the market update, I was talking about, possible last chance shopping in Ethereum on any negativity on the regulatory front. Okay, that's why I'm talking about it. Because when people start focusing on what's really the future of Ethereum near term, upside is there and then some.
All right, thank you, Bill. Forrest?
Yeah, there's tons of more room, in my opinion, for growth in Ethereum based off of EIP 1559. It's changing the monetary supply of Ethereum to decrease the supply. When you decrease the incoming supply of Ethereum or any asset, for example, Bitcoin with the Bitcoin halvings, the Bitcoin halvings caused multi-year bull markets, and that's a decrease in inflation every 4 years of just 50%. Right now, we've got EIP 1559 coming in, burning a portion of all transaction fees. So guess what? The more popular Ethereum gets, the more congested the network gets, the more Ethereum that's going to be getting burned. right? So the bigger it gets, the more that gets burned and the more the supply decreases. Then you've got ETH 2.0 coming up towards the end of the year, or towards the end of the year or the beginning of next year, that is further going to decrease the inflation of the Ethereum network by about 80 to 90%. That in and of itself is far more of a decrease than any Bitcoin having in the past. So I think this is like a great Ethereum repricing. We're going to see it flip Bitcoin over the next couple of years, and it's going to be really, really exciting to be a part of the Ethereum ecosystem.
All right, thank you, Forrest. And I would have to say yes as well, right? So let me just switch screens here. So Ethereum has burned 36% of new coin issuance over the last 2 days when the upgrade was done. I mean, that's basically almost 40% of the total supply being created is being burnt, right? That amounts to, I believe, let me just see if I can pull this article up here on my end. But essentially, Ethereum is becoming deflationary. So over 5,000 Ether has been burnt already, right? So if we're looking for a reason why Ethereum can go up, besides having actual developers and applications and DeFi, now it's getting even more scarce, possibly even more scarce than Bitcoin. To me, this is very, very bullish for Ethereum, but also bullish for DeFi and bullish for crypto. So as I've said before, I don't really have any plans to sell my Ethereum. I think Ethereum now is really in the driver's seat to eventually flipping Bitcoin. Not financial advice. All right, let's go on to the next section. Thought of the week. Would current infrastructure bill hurt the US crypto industry? The options are yes. Actually, I'm sorry, guys. Apologies here. We're having some issues. I should show the results. And the audience says yes by a landslide. Okay, let's now go on to the next question. What do you guys think is going to happen with the infrastructure bill? Are US companies and investors going to be forced offshore? What do you guys think? Let's go to Forrest.
Yeah, so short term, I think this could hurt the crypto industry. And I think it could make people have to move. It could be a really big thorn in the side in the short term. It could hurt the price action short term, create some buying opportunities. When price goes down in crypto, that's all it is. It's a buying opportunity. But in the long term, I think it's like fuel. It's accelerant on the fire to advance the space, especially when it comes to privacy solutions. So if we do see this infrastructure bill pass, again, this is not financial advice. This is speculation. I would expect the privacy sector of crypto to really excel at a fast pace, right? We've seen other narratives. We've seen DeFi. We've seen NFTs. Privacy hasn't really participated in the crypto space, even in this bull market, right? We've barely seen anything out of Monero. We've barely seen anything out of Zcash. We've haven't really seen anything until of recent from Tornado Cash, a solution on Ethereum. But I think if this infrastructure bill passes and privacy becomes a bigger narrative, those could be the projects that really excel from this catalyst.
All right, thank you, Forrest. Bill?
Okay, this idea that the US government wants to push crypto overseas could create negative price action in the short term. And as Forrest hinted, that would be an opportunity. I think the fact that they decided to sweep this crypto legislation inside this infrastructure bill has actually promoted crypto to a major issue. And the fact that nobody can seem to get through to their senators because the voicemails are all full. This bill, this stunt that they've pulled has triggered like little guy versus big guy. If they pass it, they're going to make crypto even bigger over the long term, right? They're going to make it obvious that, large government entities are against crypto, and that's actually going to make more people for crypto. So price action short term should not be confused with what they've actually done to the crypto narrative, which I think they've improved it by highlighting this little guy versus big guy problem.
All right, well said, Bill. I think the beauty in the bill, even though the bill sucks, but the beauty is how the entire crypto community has rallied and really used our influence to stop and impede legislation, which rarely happens. So if we can turn this into a huge win, that would be great for crypto, because now politicians will know that crypto is not to be messed with, right? Because we'll come after you, right? Now, on the other side, though, I mean, let's say this gets passed, and let's say this is the same thing that happened back in poker. I think a while back when all U.S. poker players were basically forced to leave the U.S., right? Because it was hard to play poker here in the U.S. And that happens in crypto. Where do Americans go, right? Where do American companies go? Is it Switzerland? Is it Dubai? I mean, even me, myself, I've had to kind of think about this. Let's say, worst case scenario, Black Swan event, this actually gets passed. What happens to token metrics? Do we have to now go overseas? All right, if that happens, tell us where to go to. Tell us down below. Should we move to Dubai, to Switzerland, to Portugal, to Hong Kong? Tell us what country would be pro-crypto and pro-token metrics. All right, so let's see what the audience has to say. All right, yes, but not too much. All right, thank you for voting. Let's now move on to Crypto Showdown. Top altcoin picks for August. We have 3 altcoins. We have Chainlink, Link, Polkadot, Dot, and Terra Luna. So let's go to Bill. Out of these 3 altcoins, which one do you think will have the best month this month?
Okay, so for me, I put it in the market update. I'm sorry if anybody out there missed it. I think it's Polkadot, and here's why. At 50, no one liked it. Okay, at 50, I'm sorry, everyone liked it. You know, below 12, you know, everybody was like, I give up. Now it's come back and rallied towards 19. Now, I've talked before on Token Metrics TV about how, you know, people can get focused on one thing, right? Like the only thing anybody wants to talk about is, you know, this crypto legislation. My idea is, what about Web3? What about Polkadot as a part of the future of the internet, right? And I'm noticing like the Polkadots and Solanas of the world have started to come back in favor. So Chainlink is great. I do think Chainlink can go to 37, but short term, if the market doesn't drop too much, Polkadot may be worth grabbing on the dip, and I'm going with Polkadot.
All right, thank you, Bill. Let's go to Forrest.
Yeah, I agree with Bill. I'm gonna say Chainlink because I'm split 50-50, and because Bill put Polkadot, I'm just gonna explain the case for Chainlink. Chainlink should be in somewhat correlation with Ethereum. My thesis would be that as Ethereum's price does well due to EIP 1559 and becomes more scarce, that narrative around Ethereum will increase Ethereum's use, in which case more Chainlink could be used as a result, decreasing or increasing the demand for Chainlink, right? So I think Chainlink could do well as a result of Ethereum doing really well over the next month, as we just had EIP 1559 as a catalyst. But I 100% agree with everything that Bill said about Polkadot. I'm very bullish on both projects, but especially Dot.
All right, thank you, Forrest. I'm actually trying to pull this up here on Token Metrics using the new quant grades. So bear with me here. I'm going to try to share my entire browser. Actually, here, I'll just speak to it. All right, so Terra Luna, I mean, all these 3 have great quant grades. So Terra Luna, quant grade, or not quant grade, I'm sorry, TM grade right now is 85%. It's been good for the last one week and last 1 month. Visual Trends Indicator turned bullish on July 8th. That's the low frequency trading strategy. If we go to Chainlink, same thing, 84% in the last 1 week. Visual Trends Indicator for Chainlink is also bullish, and Polkadot is also bullish. So pretty much all 3 are very, very bullish, but I'd have to go with Polkadot because Polkadot just turned bullish the most recent. So I think there's more room to run with Polkadot if I had to pick that. But all three are great projects. If I had to pick a backup, I'll probably pick Terra Luna because both of them are blockchains. While Chainlink is really not a blockchain, it's being built on Ethereum. So I think Terra Luna and the whole ecosystem, that can really take off. So if I had to pick between those three, I'll pick Polkadot. So let's see what the audience has to say. And as I pull this up, tell us down below in the comments what you think, which option you would go with. All right, so drum rolls, please. And the winner is Terra Luna. All right, Terra Luna. The audience has spoken. They think Terra Luna is going to have the best month in August. Do you agree or not? Tell us down below. Topher says Luna, yeah. Dave says Polkadot. Okay, now going back to the earlier question, people are saying Portugal. Yes, we've been hearing lots of great things about Portugal. I know a few investors who actually moved to Portugal, and I'm planning to possibly go to Portugal. So there'll be the Solana conference in November in Portugal. So for me to get tickets, I'll be there and probably do a crypto event there with our TM family. All right, let's move on to the next question here. Okay, the question is Quant QNT on its way to the moon. This is a question from the forum. Comes from Alan. What are people's thoughts on this? It's like a low cap XRP without the legal issues, and all this talk of CBDCs has blasted the price upwards during this last few months. While everyone has been looking at their portfolio and quietly sobbing, nobody noticed. Okay. Has anyone invested in this? It's bullish on the indices. I can't decide if the money has already been made or if there's some serious upside still to be had. A very good question. I mean, short answer, I would say just go through tokenmetrics, look at the grade. All right, so if we go to QNT, let's pull that up here. QNT, Quant. And as I'm doing this, maybe Bill, if you could pull up the TA as well on your end. So the Quant grade looks good, 85%, 87%. And if we go to the trends indicator, it's also bullish, right? So right now, things look good, right? So the Quant grade and a bullish trends indicator, to me, is a good sign that right now there's still money to be made. Until this turns bearish and until the grade drops below 70, that to me would be the sign to exit and take profits. Bill?
Okay, so here comes the chart. Can you see my screen?
Pulling it up. Yep.
Okay, so in QNT, I don't know if anybody heard this during the market update, but really interesting play, right? I'm always talking about the future of money. This could be the future of payment systems. You ever heard of SWIFT? That's how US dollars move around. Okay, this could be the SWIFT of central bank digital currencies or stablecoins. Now, has the easy money been made? It's not a bull market until you can buy a dip and make money. So anything in crypto can moonshot. My question is, where are the buyers? Will there be buyers in Quant on a dip? Now, 151 is a level. 128 is another level that in case there's a full washout of this market, and Christmas would be something under 100 near 91. So I know you have to pick your point. I don't, because of the legal issues, the crystal ball is a little foggier. Okay, if I had to guess, it would be 128. So if you can pick this up on a dip and make money, then you know it's for real. All right. And that's how I would answer that question on Quant. Very, very intriguing. And I'm inclined to give this a chance, take a shot, because it may not be a one and done.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Let's now go to the AMA. All right. So first question, is dollar cost averaging Ethereum a good investment strategy? When would you sell your ETH? Just before ETH 2.0 launch, huge unlock onto the market. All right, let's go to Forrest.
Yeah, so I'd say is dollar cost averaging the first part. Is dollar cost averaging ETH a good investment strategy? I think absolutely. It's just better than a lot of investment strategies. Now, depending on how passive or actively you want to manage your investing strategies, that should determine whether you dollar cost average in or not, right? Dollar cost averaging is going to be the lowest risk. It's also going to be the most passive. Is it going to yield the highest returns? Probably not. You usually want to buy a dip with some sort of or buy several dips, right? Almost like you're dollar cost averaging in on red days or on red weeks, right? So you can get a better average price. But I'm not against dollar cost averaging when you're wary of an overexposed market. If you're not sure which direction the market's going to go, I'm not against dollar cost averaging at all, especially for people that want to have a passive strategy. When would I sell my ETH? Just before ETH 2.0 launch? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm trying to buy as much ETH as possible before the ETH 2.0 launch because and again, not financial advice, but because ETH 2.0 decreases the supply of the incoming ETH by about another 80 to 90%. So that would be like selling your Bitcoin right before a halving and then watching Bitcoin go into a multi-year bull market, right? So again, not financial advice, but I'm wanting to wait for Ethereum to completely reprice after Ethereum 2.0 launch, which may take 3 months, it may take several years, and then look to take profits.
All right, thank you, Forrest.
Yep.
Bill?
Yeah, I think Ethereum is going to be the new currency of choice. Okay, that's a new term I'm rolling out. In other words, right now, Ethereum is being used in things like DeFi or NFTs. I think Ethereum is going to be something that everyone is going to have, a little bit like the S&P on the investment front, because Ethereum is both tech and money. So if people can buy and hold and DCA in the S&P for years and have it work, I think that whole process with returns multiplied, several orders of magnitude is going to repeat in Ethereum. So if stocks can do it, ETH can do it. All right. And if you're setting up an investment strategy, you're trying to dollar cost average, you're trying to be as smart as you can about risk management. But at the end of the day, Ethereum, it's not about timing the market. It's about time in the market. Stealing that from my friends in equities. Okay. It's how long can you stay in an Ethereum position and wait for the day where everyone wakes up and goes, oh, gee, this should be trading at 10,000. No, not investment advice, but time in the market, time in ETH.
All right, thank you, Bill. And definitely smash that like button. Okay, so let me see here. So dollar cost averaging makes sense if that's how you would get exposure to crypto and Ethereum. Maybe you only have so much money you get each time. But for me, I don't really dollar cost average, but I did when I was new to crypto. I was buying new crypto, basically Bitcoin and ETH, about every month or two. And that worked out well for me. Nowadays, I don't really do that. Now, when would I sell my Ethereum? Oh, man, I mean, never. I mean, I would say rarely. Ethereum is the last thing I would sell. I sold my, because basically Ethereum is going to flip Bitcoin. Now, as Forrest mentioned, when Ethereum gets repriced, when that happens, that's going to be big. Because right now, Ethereum went to 3K. I mean, just think about this. 40% of the new Ethereum is being burned every day. 40%. Right? So Ethereum is going to get more scarce than Bitcoin. I mean, more deflationary than Bitcoin. It has more activity than Bitcoin. It has more applications and developers building on it than Bitcoin. I mean, to me, this is a done deal. It's just a matter of when. So why would I sell what will eventually be the largest crypto asset in the world? So then how do we cash out? Well, you can cash out by using Alchemix, which is why I like Alchemix. You can borrow against your Ethereum and cash out. Or you can just yield farm and cash out the yield farming. So that's the only time I've really had to sell ETH where I felt comfortable doing it, right? For example, recently, actually this month, or this week rather, I sold some benchmark protocol yield farming rewards for ETH and then cashed out via ETH. But anyway, I mean, Ethereum is the future. So, I mean, I don't know how more clear we can get. So it's the last thing I would sell, in my opinion. Okay, all right, let's go on to the next question. Where do you see Alpha headed in August and September? I would say whatever the TM grade is on tokenmetrics.com, definitely go there as a customer and join. If you're not a customer, we have trials for just $5 a week. Bill, have you done TA on Perp? I'm sorry, on Alpha recently?
I have. I've got, let me bring it up here. All right. So if you look at Alpha, if you can see my screen, Alpha's making like a rounding bottom. Okay. It could be a teacup and handle depending on what time frame you use. But for the stream today, I'm just keeping it simple, right? When you have this type of formation, whether it's the teacup and handle or a rounding bottom, I'm just invoking the bigger the base, the higher in the space. Now, it's not a huge base. It's only since May. But if you consider the carnage and the way this thing went down, so speed, magnitude, and direction, what goes from 2.6 to 30 cents can go from 30 cents back to 2.6 in the same manner. Now, I own this, so yes, I would love to see a bigger rally. That said, there are going to be coins that catch people way off guard. Probably people don't want to touch this because of how destroyed it got. When I think that's the reason to get into it, is that this thing is done 3x off of its lows, and it's still 3x off of its highs. So I'm a big fan of, dip buying in this, particularly if there's some sort of event, right? I have this staked and I'm hodling.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Forrest, any comments?
Yeah, I mean, Alpha's a fantastic project. They have a launch pad now too, which actually, since they've launched their launch pad, the price has gone down, right? Because of this kind of multi-month crypto dip that we've seen. But I believe one of the features of that launch pad is that projects that launch on it, or people who hold and stake Alpha tokens will get airdrops from projects that stake on that. So that's going to be a huge feature, and a lot of good projects are probably going to launch on Alpha. We're already seeing a couple of good ones. I believe one is called Beta Finance, and it's going to allow you to go short on crypto in a decentralized manner. So it's going to be Alpha is a fantastic project. You just stake it and hold on to it. Not financial advice. That's what I'm doing. That's what Bill's doing. Right? It's for me. It's a long-term hold. I'm not worried about August or September. I'm holding Alpha for as long as it takes to see the returns that I want.
All right. Thank you, Forrest. Okay, so let's now go to next question. What is Casper? Why is Casper up 300% in 2 days? Where do you see it going? Now, maybe there's some kind of fundamental news on Casper Labs. I have no idea. I haven't kept tabs on it, but I do know there were severely undervalued because I think they dropped all the way down to $80 million market cap, which is probably a good entry point for people who love Casper Labs. I myself still have not bought Casper Labs, but looking at this here, if we pull up the TM grade on Tokenmetrics, we actually don't have enough data for it. Bill, maybe could you do TA on Casper?
Right. Okay. I'm pulling it up now. Okay. So, this is what happens when something gets artificially depressed. Everyone gets distracted and then it just goes. All right. So what's happened in Casper is, I think there was a renaissance in layer one thinking, right? So Eath, Elrond, Solana, Casper, everybody all of a sudden became interested in different layer one protocols. Now with this, again, you had this very depressed valuation. A lot of people going, oh my God, how could it have ever gone this low? Okay. Which usually leads to people giving up or blowing it off and not getting involved. This goes back to this whole time in the market thing, right? This is an 89-minute chart. So my guess on Casper is if it either holds 14 cents or the 62% retracement at 12.61, roughly 13 cents, that this has a shot at going higher, right? It's only a bull market if you can buy a dip and make money, right? So if this dip in Casper, once it kind of runs its course, if you can buy the dip and make money, it's good. If not, then it's probably just a bear market rally. But when I look at the structure of this, this could be the real deal.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Let's now shift to a question for Forrest. Did Forrest sell as he had planned on the long-term resistance line?
Yes, I did. Sold my the bulk of my dot position. I just so happened to move some stuff into NFTs. But yeah, I did sell on this resistance line. So I moved a lot of that into NFTs for the time being. But I did absolutely sell this resistance.
All right, sounds good. All right, so let's actually wrap things up here. With that being said, be sure to vote on what day you want us to move the live stream. Looking at the results, the winner was Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. UTC. So we'll do one more live stream on a Sunday, and then the next live stream, the week after that, will be on a Monday, looking at this. We'll talk internally, and then we'll definitely put out an email to confirm everything. So thank you for everybody who voted there. All right, with that being said, team, any last words to our crypto family, beginning with Forrest?
Stay patient. It's a volatile market. We're getting a little bit of whiplash right now, and I just say stay patient and stick to fundamentals, right? We had the nasty crash 2 months ago with Bitcoin. Now we're getting a rally, right? A lot of people are calling it a bull trap. A lot of people are calling it a retest. A lot of people are saying we're going right back into a bull market, right? It's very confusing when you're getting multiple opinions, but as long as you zoom out and stick to fundamentally sound projects and have a long-term time horizon, you'll be fine in this market, not financial advice.
All right. Bill?
A lot of people want to know, what does the legislation in Washington mean for crypto? Here's what I think. I think the little guy is pushing back against the big guy. Now, if you get downward price action in crypto, remember while you're in crypto, for financial freedom, for gains, for investments, okay, that are outside the legacy financial system. If the legacy guys or anybody in a regulatory world wants to take a swipe at crypto, good luck. It's already backfired, okay? People are pushing back. And if you get the price action, if you get the dip, please take advantage. Often enough, as my final word, the best trades are the toughest trades. So if there's a dip of some scary news, please keep your wits about you so you can take advantage of that process.
All right. Thank you, Bill. So my last words, I'm actually going to answer a question here. Let me bring this up here. All right. So Frank says, I'm done investing in Alpha, Perp, and Armor. Show me the money. I've ridden this horse and invested a ton of my portfolio in it. I've bought dip after dip after dip. Prove yourself now, please. Okay, very fair question. We always welcome tough questions. So here, let me, because first of all, based on the way you're asking that question, and based on the timeline you're on, it seems you're more of a trader than an actual investor, right? Because an investor has a very long-term time horizon, right? An investor doesn't really start getting upset if an investment does not pan out early on, right? And the best case and example is Matic Network, Polygon, right? Looking at this, let me pull up the chart, right? This did over 400x ROI. Over 400x ROI, right? Now imagine being the person, right, who got in early in Matic and Polygon, right, back here, right? Now, did you know Matic had 2 crashes where it lost over 50%, I believe, in one day? Twice. And one day it lost 61%. Over 61% of the value lost in one day. Now, I've had stories from our audience of people who knew we were early on Matic Network. They got in, but they were not patient enough, and they sold. Because just think about this, right? From Friday 26 April 2019, you could have bought Matic at 0.005 cents, and you had all this time in the world, basically where it was going sideways or you were losing money on it. Matic did not start rallying literally until this year. Until all these projects began building on it. But guess what? Those who knew that this was a great project and had a long-term perspective, as Forrest says, when in doubt, zoom out. Guess what? They have life-changing money, right? So my response would be, if you don't have the patience, then just trade those trades, right? So if you're going to trade, I would just use Tokenmetrics TM grade, right? If the TM grade and the visual trends indicator are bullish, then you hodl. If the TM grade goes below 70 and the trends indicator turns bearish, then I would sell, right? But if you're going to hodl through, but still have the mindset of a trader, those two don't really go together. Those two are in conflict, right? So I would say if you believe you have projects that have actual value, then think long term, right? Because the fundamentals have not really changed. If anything, the fundamentals have gotten better on these projects, right? Based on our code review, and now I don't have all those projects except Armor, but if the fundamentals are solid, sometimes it just takes patience. And sometimes, yes, you can be wrong, right? But the main thing is you have to let an investment, a long-term value investment, take its course, right? Because if you try to treat a long-term value investment as a trade, that's when you typically lose a lot of money, right? That's because the worst thing than losing money is to be in the right play or the right pick, but not have been patient enough, right? For example, I mean, I wasn't patient enough with Chainlink. I was in the private sale of Chainlink, the private sale, before the token even launched. I invested in Chainlink, I made a nice 5-10x, but we entered the bear market and I got out. Took my profits, sold everything. Next thing you know, Chainlink ended up becoming a top 10 market cap project, right? So that's the patience you have to have, because in crypto is the future of money, right? So pick whatever camp you're in. If you're investing for the long term, invest for the long term. If you're trading, then trade. Take out the emotions. Don't buy the dip. Just use TA, use the TM grade. With that being said, thank you so much to our crypto family. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and join us at tokenmetrics.com. And once again, we're working on changing the live stream to be Mondays, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. With that being said, take care. Bye.
See you guys.